Okay guys, now we're going to get into the probably one of the most dreaded parts of doing an otter. Now, is the flashing. Now this little technique here that I'm going to show you is that Jim Gibb did an otter demonstration in one of the Fur Harvester magazines a few years back, and what he does, he likes to check them. See this red membrane right here, and it's pretty gristly, hard to get off. Well, he likes to take a knife and just checkerboard that. Just as I was saying, you want to checkerboard that red meat up here. Give it a few little nicks with a knife and then come across. Just make it look like a checkerboard. That way there, when you run your draw knife on her, it comes off nice and clean. So here we go. And just push that stuff right off. And the thing is about otters is, the later in the season you catch them, the easier they are to flash. Because when you catch them early, and they're blue hides, they're a lot harder to flash. Just rotate them. Take your knife. Give a few little marks on her. Don't push too hard, you don't want to cut your fur. I'm just saying, you can just cut that membrane so it's broke up and it doesn't grip solid. And you just give you something to bite onto with your draw knife. Oh, before we get carried away, one important step. Don't flush your otters dry. You'll singe them. So put them back down there like so. Your spray bottle. Dampen them up a little bit. That way there you don't singe them, because the friction, the heat friction from flushing him will singe them. Yeah, I know they shear them, but you don't want to flush them and have them all singed. So yeah, you got to make sure you have them a little damp before you start flushing them, because if you don't, you'll singe his fur. Too nice of a fur to singe up. So there. Get back at the flushing. Well, as you can see, right there, there's a pincer marks. There's other otter there. So, yeah, it's a good thing I did leave those other traps in there. I think I'm going to possibly hook into a couple more. Or another one maybe. We'll see. But you see how that stuff's rolling on. Once you get a start, you got to get a start on an otter. You do the same up here. put some little slices in it so that you can get underneath that meat. And like I said, the old FHA Jim Gibb, he put on an article of doing otters. You can get underneath that flesh and start to move it off. And if you get into some stubborn stuff, well, take a knife, trim it off. Sawdust. I got sawdust here too. Your otters will clean up so nice. Just give them that extra little, just something so that you can get a hold of it, eh? There. Alrighty guys. Well, I'll turn this back on once I get down to the tail. Alrighty, because this will turn into a real long video if I don't. Okay. Ciao for now. Alrighty folks, here we are. We're down at the tail. And same sort of thing for the tail. Excuse me. Make some marks in your tail. I like to just cut right into that. There's that big, like a fat sack that runs right along the bone. Mark that up a little bit with your knife. Just so that there's something for your knife to grab a hold of when you're fleshing it. There's two ways you can do this. You can skin it out with your knife like so, and there's a few guys who do that, and you just take your time and you just kind of like scoop and shave that fat right out of there, just like something like what Trap World does for doing his beaver on his knee, except this ain't on your knee, it's on your bean. Or you can get your draw knife out and do it that way. So you take your draw knife, you put her on a 45, and you will start. See how you catch it? And your sawdust to give you some grip. And you just and there's going to be, you're going to get it so that there's going to be pieces of it that doesn't want to come out and get stubborn. That's fine. I like stubborn. I ain't going anywhere. through that tail. Poopy. I'll fix that, that's no big deal. Whatever pieces don't want to come off, take a sharp knife and just work that right towards the hairline. Yeah, that'll pin it nice. Now it's just the milking process. See that? That's what I call the milking process. Just to squeeze all that fat out. Because you don't want to get those grease burns in your tail. There. And you just keep doing that till you're happy. Now when I put him on the board, I'll dress him up and I'll make sure that I can clean up all the extra little pieces of meat and stuff that I never got off him when I was fleshing him. And it won't be much. I'll just tidy him up. Okay, I'll turn these on for the boarding. Ready, guys. Now we're getting into the boarding. So, got the otter already, your fleshed otter's already on here. Pull them down where you want them to be. Make sure that he's centered. Put a pin. Put a pin. Alrighty, flip them around. Alright. Square them up in the back here. Alright. Put something underneath here. So there he is. You see his tail like that. So now, these pieces of cardboard that I was talking to you about, for people that have a hard time pinning their tail straight, you can use these as a guide. See that right there? I'll show you how to set this up. There. Excuse my arm. But then you put your pins every inch and you pleat your tail. Now I'm going to go ahead and pin this and I'll show you what it should look like when it's done. But that's just a guide to help you so you keep your tails nice and straight when you go to do your otters. Alrighty, when I'm done pinning them, I'll turn these back on. Okay. Talk to you in a bit. Now, that method I showed you guys, that's for stretching your tails if you want to stretch them long. Now, if you like to pleat your tails like me, that's how I like to do it. Now, mine's not going to fit on that bracket. And I just grab an inch of fur, shove a pin in. And then I'll show you the method. And I'll grab another inch and then I'll push a pin in. I'll show you what I'm doing here in a minute. There. because eventually I'm going to shorten up this tail. Why I want to shorten up my tail, you can stretch your tails long if you want to, but there's a reason why I'm going to stretch my tails short. I'm going to bunch them all up here, and as that pelt dries right in here, this is all going to thicken up in the inspection window. You catch a nice otter, so you want them nice and thick back in here. So all this, what it's going to do is just going to thicken this all the way up the back. So I'm just going to shorten my tails and thicken up the back. When I'm all done pinning this guy out, I'll show you. So like you grab a little bit of fur, push your pin in. Grab a little bit of fur, push another pin in. You just keep grabbing your fur. Now, if you wanted to pin them long, you just stretch your tail out, and every inch on those lines, like I showed you, you drive a pin in, and it makes your tails nice and straight. But if you can pin them without one of those things, well, even better. But that's just a guide for people who want to keep their tails straight on their otter. Grab a little bit of fur, push it up. Alright, I'm going to pin this out and then I'll turn these back on. Okay, talk to you in a bit. Alrighty folks, there he is right there. Tail all pinned out. As you can see, right straight up his back. Right up to the tip of his nose. Alrighty, so now you flip your otter around, and now you're going to cut out his inspection window. So what you want to do is you want to cut this out right in around here, and then I'll cut that all out and then I'll show you what I'm doing. Alrighty? Okay, talk to you in a bit. Now that you got your otter boarded, you want to sew your leg holes up. This is just for presentation, personal preference. So you just go around the edge, give a stitch. Another. And at this time you find any little pieces of flesh you want to get rid of, just take your knife and just trim it off. And just give them another little poke right here. And like I said, it's not necessary that you sew the legs shut on your otter. Just personal preference. There, like that. Tuck the hair in. Give a little pull. Pull the loose end up. One. And the same, of course, for the other side. Wind's sure howling out there today. Wow. Oh, winter come back here with a vengeance, folks. Did she ever. One stitch. About 4 or 5 stitches you'll put in it. Like I said, you just want to draw the hole shut. A lot of those coyote trappers, they sew a pile of holes, so they're no strangers to sewing. So I do a lot of my beaver. Now there's some beaver I'll do the leg holes on. Pops, I'm not into doing the leg holes on. Or if I get a big beaver that's got a bunch of bite marks in them, I'm not into sewing his leg holes. But like I said, I can do that. My beaver quota ain't big. There's some guys here in Ontario that got beaver quotas that are over 300. And they got to take 75% of that every year. Can't imagine that they're sewing too many leg holes. This, with the way the market is right now. Just tuck all your hair back in. Give a little tug. One cinch. Two cinch. There. Now, I can't stress this enough. On your otters, you just work the tail up. You see, there's your tail. It's done all nice. Like so. He's nice and clean. And your presentation looks awesome right now. But the belly board is the most important step. And I'm going to show you why I do mine this way, and I'll explain it to you. I take my belly board, or my belly stick, and I shove the little end down towards the feet. And I leave the big end up the top. Leaving the big end up the top. It's not going to affect the belly fur any. But if I put the big end down at the bottom, all this fur that I'm trying to work up in the back, I'm going to stretch it out. So if I put the big end up here, it leaves that fur down at the bottom to condense and get thick. That way there you don't stretch it out. So anyway guys, that one's done. I'm going to trim a little bit off it. But yeah, I'm going to pin the other one on. And I'm going to pin the tail on, and I'll show you what it looks like with the guides on. Okay, talk to you in a bit. And there you go, guys. That's what that guide does for you. It takes the guesswork right out of doing your otter tails. Alrighty. I hope that helps some of you out there with doing your otters. Keeps them nice and straight, and it centers them, and it makes your animal look nice. So anyway guys, I'm gonna finish this guy up, sew his legs up, and then yeah, call her a night. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. So anyway, okay, ciao for now. And this video has been brought to you by Veteran Beaver Eaters.